I said I want to make a movie about a family who's traumatized, and they find someone who's also in a crisis, and both crises are helping each other. Yeah, this was the idea.
We're going out on a limb and saying it plainly. Christian Petzold is one of the finest and most consistently compelling filmmakers working in film today. While his first 5 features never received U.S. theatrical release, he broke through to American art house audiences with Barbara in 2012, introducing many to the extraordinary Nina Haas. He followed with Phoenix and Transit before beginning a new creative collaboration with Paula Beer in Undine and Afire. Now, Petzold and Beer reunite for the light and luminous Miroirs No.3. Inspired by the Maurice Ravel piano suite, the film is an impressionistic meditation on one of Petzold's central themes, recovery from trauma, told with a delightfully human touch that will leave audiences full of hope. Miroirs No.3 opens March 20th in New York and Los Angeles, and will be rolling out to theaters in the weeks that follow. We hope our conversation with director Christian Petzold inspires you to get out to see the film. That conversation on Inside the Arthouse, starting now.
Hi, I'm Greg Lemley.
And I'm Raphael Sparge.
And welcome to today's episode of Inside the Arthouse. I'm really excited today. One of my favorite filmmakers is here with us, and that's Christian Petzold. Joining us, he's in New York after a long travel from Germany, but Christian is here to talk about his new film, which is going to be opening in New York and Los Angeles on March 20th, and that is Miroirs No.3.
Yeah, that's right. It's Miroirs No.3. And when I, 1.5 years ago, I said to the producer who asked me, what's the name of the film? I said, Miroirs No.3. And he said, no, please no. Yeah, nobody can pronounce it in a real way, and everything is bad. And then he said, all movies with a number are not good. Yeah?
That's right.
So,
yes.
It's not good for the audience. And I said, Chanel No. 5. What is about this?
Touché.
It's cliche, but I said, Marilyn Monroe was asked what she's wearing at the night, a T-shirt or a pajama, and she said, just wearing Chanel No. 5. And the producer starts laughing about that, like you now, and said, okay, you can have the title. Yeah.
Well, the film, the Nicholas Heidner film, The Madness of George III, was renamed for the United States because they were worried that Americans would think that they couldn't see the movie because they'd missed the first 2 parts of the sequel.
Oh my God, that's great.
So you can't. Yeah, and so we're going to tell audiences right now it's okay to see Miroirs No.3, even if you haven't seen Miroirs No.1 or No.2.
I was in a train. The train stopped because something was happening with the engine, and we have to sit there in the train for hours. And there started conversations like every time when something's not moving on. And there were a couple, an older couple, 55 years old, sitting at my desk. At the table in this train, and after 1 hour they asked me, "What are you doing?" Yeah, and then I said, "I'm a film director." "Oh, what movies you have made?" And I said, "Okay, I've made Barbara." No, I never heard about that. Phoenix, no, never heard about it. Sorry. And it was so humiliating. Yeah, this conversation that after 5 or 6 titles, they never have heard about this. I said Terminator No. 2, yeah, and said, we heard about that movie. And at this moment, I was free. Yeah.
You were validated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what you wrote, that cinema is about people building a life raft from the wreckage, and as an idea of really capturing not life, but in a way the need and the desire to survive, and how that defines stories for you. Could you talk about that? Because even the title, which is of course a boat on the ocean, it all has this sort of sense of kind of water and rafts and survival.
Yeah, during our shooting of Afire, there are many scenes in Afire where a group of young people are sitting around a table in a summer evening. And, these rehearsals of these scenes are very, very long. And sometimes you have to talk with the actors, not about the rehearsal or about the scenes, about the world, so that they refresh themselves. And in this time, I heard this music by Maurice Ravel very often, because it's like a score for myself during the shooting of Afire. And I talk about this Ravel, and they ask me about about this music, and I said that the French musicians in this time, at the beginning of the last century, Debussy or Ravel, they make program music. It's so that they take a novel or a picture, and they make a music of their impression of the novel or the picture. And the Germans never do this. The Germans hate this, And so the French are always a little bit more poetic, and the Germans are a little bit more stronger. And I talk about music on this table, and then they want to hear the music of Ravel, the Miroirs. And then Paula, who can speak French perfectly, said there's a subtitle, Un bateau sur l'océan. I can't speak French, and that means a small boat on the ocean. And then the music, it's like a score of or a picture of a small boat and the waves and perhaps a shipwreck, and perhaps some people have to die and some people survived and so on. And so then in this moment I make the theory, because I want to impress the actors with my intelligence. I make the theory that movies are not about ships on the ocean. Movies are about the catastrophe after something's happening, and the shipwrecks and the parts of the ship are on the surface of the ocean, and the survivors try to build up a survivor raft, and this
life raft,
life raft, okay, and life raft. And and this work to survive by building a collective thing like a life raft is the main subject of the most movies. So a family under pressure tries to survive. A couple who betrayed each other tried to survive. Someone who's coming out of the jail and is filled up with guilty, tried to come back into life. These are all life raft stories. This I told the actors, and the story of Miroirs come out of this collective thinking about music, miroir, life rafts, and then at the end I said I want to make a movie about a family who's traumatized, and they find someone who's also in the crisis, and both crises are helping each other. This was the idea.
I mean, the piece of music, I guess I would define as impressionism, musical impressionism, which is maybe a little more amorphous than impressionism in painting. And yet I think it feels in a way like you've tried to carry that through into the way the story is told. There's almost a sketch-like quality to the movie, where we are given bits of information and yet not given information, and we're filling in things in our head as the story is. But the actors almost also feel like they're being there's a certain freedom, I guess, within the narrative for them to work. Is that something deliberate? Almost in the way it was all put together?
I'm always writing biographies for the actors. Therefore, I don't have to make pictures out of it. I don't have to film them. For example, For the mother, I've written down that she was a school teacher in an elementary school, yeah, and she has she has bad love affairs, yeah, with other teachers, and she hates their narcissistic male subjects around her. And then one day she has a breakdown with her car. And there is someone is coming, and he knows everything about engines and cars. And she saw his hands, who are very sensible, yeah, and who can repair a car. And she thought perhaps he can repair me too, with his hands. This I have written down for Barbara.
Oh, that's
So they have all this backstory, and you don't need to, they inhabit that space. You don't need to film it or tell that story, and yet it's so real and so lived that it, for audiences, we just sort of fall into it.
Yeah, that's right. So this subject of repairing was also in this biography, yeah? And on the other hand, the first day of shooting, I cut off and put it in the garbage can. Yeah, because I made some. We filmed some scenes with Laura, with Paula Beer in the university, where she has a panic attack and the piano. At the piano, she has a small conversation with the student. So that this is a young woman which has some problems with her life and with her education, yeah, and the university, and I was really bored about that, yeah, and so I cut it off, and then Paula asked me, why you cut it off, and then I said to her, Alice in Wonderland, you know nothing about Alice in Wonderland, yeah? Her life starts with a rabbit hole. Yeah? And everything she is in the story. It's not before. Yeah, you don't need to characterize her before she's falling in the rabbit hole. You know everything from her because every life is complex, and you have to watch her, and you have to be curious, yeah, to understand her. And this is. I think this is so the audience is also productive and not just reproductive. This was the idea, and therefore nobody there has, all the scars you see in this movie, all the dishing machines which doesn't work, the cars which doesn't work, yeah? The fences who need the new color,
everything needs repair, yeah.
And everything is repaired, but I read when I was a student for film history. I was very young, 22 years old. I read a text by Jean-Luc Godard. Yeah, and he has written down.
He knows a little bit about film.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a text from Cahiers du Cinéma at the end of the 50s. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he has written down that there are two different kinds of movies in the history of movies. One movie is coming from the dance to the idea, and the other movies are coming from the idea to the dance. Yeah? And the first moment I thought about it was I like it, and he said Fritz Lang, for example, is someone who's coming from the idea, a cold idea, yeah, and during the filming, this idea starts to dance. And Jean Renoir, he starts with the dancing, and during the dancing, he noticed there is an idea. Yeah? So this I like very much, to say that movies has something to do with ideas, also reflection, intelligence, and so on, and also with dancing. Yeah, I think John Cassavetes is someone who's coming from the dance to the idea, for example. Yeah? And then during our work on Miroirs, I thought that perhaps my answer is a little bit too long, but I'll try to. No. when my daughter was 3 or 4 years old, she can't sleep in the night, especially when I'm alone with her and my wife is in the movies or so. Yeah? And because I'm weak, yeah, she comes out at 9 o'clock, yeah, in PM. Can't sleep. Can I sit at your side and watch a little bit TV together with you? And so sometimes I switched on the TV then, and I liked when she's sitting beside me. And then there was a James Bond movie. Yeah, and she watched the James Bond movie, and I hate James Bond movies. I must say, I don't like them. Yeah? I like the opening scene because of the music. Yeah, and
sure.
This design of the opening scene. And then she was there, and we saw 20 minutes of James Bond movie, and she said, I love these movies. I was a little bit disappointed about that. And I asked, why are you loving James Bond movies? And she said, because he never have to clean up. Yeah? So he destroys everything. Yes. So, and I know this is something not so bad. This idea. Yes. You have so from this moment on, I thought that we have movies who likes to destroy the world, and I like also. Like in a Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy movie, to destroy the world. Yeah, but we have also movies who show the work of repairing. Yeah, so you have movies where you have traumatized family and they try to repair each other, and you have movies about the trauma itself. Yeah, So, and the same daughter, now she's 29. Yeah? Same daughter said to me after she had seen Miroirs, Papa, I think it's time to make political movies now. Yeah? And Miroirs is not a really political movie. I'm sorry. Yeah? And I said, no, I think it's a political movie because our time is now a time where we have to start to repair again. Yeah? The time of destruction is over. Yeah? Because that I understand destruction as something to make to give new fresh air into a room. To sometimes you have to destroy structures. Yeah, but now I think we have to repair something which is totally destructive. If it's nature, if it's the world, the social world. Yeah? If it's the injustice between the rich and the poor, something is completely destroyed, and cinema has to repair, show the work of repair. Yeah?
Let's take a quick look at a clip. So the film stars Paula Beer, she's amazing, and Barbara Auer, who's worked with you before, and they are they've come across each other. I guess there's no better way to say it, but. Paula Beer has been, her character Laura has been in an accident that takes place just outside of the home of Betty, this older woman, and she just sort of starts, she's just staying with her. So they've sort of fallen into each other's arms in this moment of destruction, like you're talking about, and here's a scene where they're getting to know each other and learn a little bit about each other. So, again, this is a scene from Christian Petzold's film Miroirs No.3, which is going to be opening in theaters across the United States in March and April this year.
Ich würde gerne mal für dich kochen.
Musst du nicht.
Nein, wirklich, mache ich gerne.
Okay. Gibt's irgendwas, das du gut kannst und gerne kochen würdest?
Ja,
Was denn?
Königsberger Klopse.
Was? Königsberger Klopse?
Ja, Entschuldigung, ich kann auch was.
Nein, es ist nur... Es ist das Lieblingsessen meiner Männer. Und weißt du, es ist das einzige Essen, das ich nicht kann.
Was für Männer?
Richard und Max. Mein Mann und mein Sohn. Wir laden sie ein.
Die Männer?
Ja. Also, wenn dich das nicht stört.
Nein, nein, überhaupt nicht.
Also, wenn die beiden kommen, ja? Das sind Handwerker. Wenn die mitkriegen, dass die Spülmaschine kaputt ist oder der Wasserhahn leckt, dann war's das mit dem Abendessen. Die würden sofort mit der Reparatur beginnen. Die sind verrückt, ich sag's dir.
So beautiful. You know, we sort of talked about this sort of indirectly, but I wanted to sort of say what I find so remarkable about these actors in your movie is that sometimes actors are weighted down by the script and by the plot, and they have to they feel the need to kind of move it forward. In other words, the reason for the scene is to move the plot forward for the next thing, and you feel the actors working somehow in service of the plot. What is so remarkable about what you've done is that these actors, they become the plot in a way. They are the focus, the details of their performance, the things that they see, the things that they touch, the quiet looks. And you've given them so much freedom to kind of just literally be there and inhabit this world. And I'm not sure if it's because of these wonderful biographies that you write for them, or what it is, but it's really striking. And Paula Beer is luminous as in this, and her face constantly changes, and you never quite know who's going to show up. What look is in her eyes. But can you talk about your process with the actors? Because it's really striking.
I think there was something which both actors, Barbara and Paula, said to me during their first rehearsal when they have met after the accident. Yeah? They said to me, "Oh, in this movie we just have our given names, Laura and Betty. Nobody knows her family names." And this I didn't recognize during writing the script. Yeah, they have just, and then we three thought about what this means when you have just your given names and not your family names. That means there is no past, there is no identity, there is no biography. Yeah? There is a girl lying on the ground, and there's a woman finding her, and she says, "I'm Laura, I'm Betty." Yeah? Everything is contemporary. Everything is in presence, and that was a discussion we had together. That means everything. What is their relationship? You have to see in front of the camera. It's not. They don't have to realize something which is made before, to represent something. It's happening directly. And for example, the scene we had seen with a bicycle. I like to talk, and therefore I'm a director, and I have to pay them that they are my audience. Yeah, but on this day I said, as you are on this bicycle, you are going from the right to the left, not like you are reading books. Yeah, it's the other direction. Yeah, that because there was when I have made also a movie with a bicycle, Barbara, with Nina Hoss, yeah? And there on this German poster, Nina Hoss was on a bicycle from the left to the right. This was her direction, and I received from Vietnam and China the same poster, and they make a mirror, yeah. They put it on the other side because. For them, it was not the right direction of writing and reading. Yeah. So, and from this moment on, I thought, okay, it's more interesting when the direction of is against our left-right direction. It's against. Yeah. And this I said to the both actors, and they said, you are on the back seat of this old. You have to help her a little bit. She has to work. She's the older woman. She has to work. She has to go a little bit uphill. Yeah, and it's very hard. And perhaps you can help her with it. So we see your bodies try to work together in front of the camera in one shot without any. Yeah, so we are the audience to see how two bodies of two women are try to find a rhythm, yeah, of driving, and also to find a rhythm of conversation. Yeah, she's a little bit anxious when she's saying, "What male subjects you are talking about?" Like this. So, and she, because she thought she's very lonely. No, I have a husband and a son. We can invite them. So this is a new chapter in their conversation. Yeah? So you can see everything which is in this moment is happening. Therefore, I think this is the impression you have when you said that they don't have to represent lines from a book. Yeah, there's no representation. It's in this moment there, made by two actors in this moment.
It's really striking. It's really striking and just and so beautiful to watch. Like it's like watching a cat or something. You just can't take, like, what's it going to do next? You know, where's it going to go? You know, it's thrilling. I have a follow up on that, I guess, which is this. In the opening sequence, you obviously there's a terrible accident. Laura's boyfriend is terribly hurt, and what's interesting about it to me, again, which is you talking about going against the grain or being sort of an anti James Bond approach, is we don't see the accident. We don't ever watch it happen. Even when you see her stand up and walk away, she doesn't look back. We have one brief shot of him. We know he's, expired, but what does it mean to you that this accident happened off screen, and why is that important? Because it's unusual, particularly in the beginning, as an inciting incident, to not see it.
There's one thing during my work. Since 30 years, I'm making movies. I have many car accidents in my movies, and you have always to rent a group of people who are professionals with car accidents. Yeah, so I'm working with the actors. It's all great time. We are thinking about intellectual things like life rafts and so on. Yeah, and then these guys are coming on the set. They have tattoos, they have motorbikes, they have really big cars, and they look at us as if we are just douche caps. Yeah?
Aliens, yes, right.
Yeah, a little bit like this. They make a real job. And you know that actors, they're impressed by them. Yeah, because actors have the shame that they can't do anything. They are playing doctors, but they don't know anything about the human body, for example. Yeah, so, and then their really male subjects are coming. And I hate this. Yeah, and so the last time they are coming, and they said to me, "Okay, we shot this car out with something out of the street, 2 or 3 saltos, yeah, and then a car explosion, yeah." And then I want to impress the actors, yeah. So I want to show that I'm more intelligent than these guys, yeah. Yeah. And I said, I never see an accident like you are doing here since many years in my whole life, yeah? Because nobody has seen an accident like this in the ordinary scenes, in the ordinary traffic. You can see them in TV when there is a Grand Prix race or something like that, but never, yeah, because you just hear the accidents. Yeah, when you are in the street, you hear a noise, and then when you're watching it, it's gone. The accident is gone. Yeah, and so therefore, I'm more interested in people who make the sounds of accident than in you who are pushing cars out from the street and make explosions. For me, I'm not interested in this. I'm more interested in the sound. Okay? Therefore, I impressed my actors a little bit with this. And but there is a truth in this story.
That's great.
Yeah?
That's great.
And on one hand, it's so that someone who had seen a car and start to paint the fence again, and then there is this noise. And then you see and hear the birds and the nature who is disturbed for a moment. Yeah, there is a cut in the reality, and every cut is the start of a story. Yeah, was the one of this idea. The other is that the whole movie is that there are some little mystery things inside. There's this. I have taken out of the tales. I like it when some small things, they are not symbols. It's just that in this moment when a story in cinema starts, yeah, you have a selective experience of this. It's a room by itself, as if something's happening to your family, like an accident. You are living in a bubble. You're not interested in soccer and football and the neighbors anymore. Yeah, and cinema must be a little bit like this. And so there is a red car. Yeah, I don't know the word in English when they don't have
a convertible.
A convertible.
Yeah.
It's a red convertible, and you have red convertibles in the history of cinema. Sometimes you had it in the Godard movie Le Mépris. You got it in a movie by François Truffaut with Catherine Deneuve in a red. Yeah, so I like this little, or here in The Graduate. Yeah, it's also. Dustin Hoffman was driving with his car.
That's right.
And this little red car is something to do. It says to us in this accident scene, we are in the cinema, and you can trust because it's a room of a tale and it's reality in the same moment. This was the idea. Also, that the other thing is when she's found by Betty. She had lost one of her shoes. Yeah. So, and this shoe at the end, she's throwing against the door. Yeah. So it's like Cinderella, the one. Yeah. So there are some things I try to make the scenes a little bit more as if we are in a tale. Yeah.
So a fairy tale. Yes.
Well, I think you're respecting the intelligence of the audience. In many ways with the film, because again, you're giving us room to find meaning in the film for ourselves, and I think every viewer is going to find something different potentially. Although, as you say, hopefully the idea of repair is a constant for everybody. But what is really happening, what the motivations are, what the reactions are of the characters is somewhat left to us to form our own judgment. And Hollywood doesn't necessarily. I mean, they make great movies, but at the end of the day, they're spoon feeding a lot of stuff to you. And this is a film that really respects its audience and says, bring yourself to the film as well, and come away with something that's going to be very personal. So I can't thank you enough, first, for being with us here today. I know you're sleep deprived and ready to get some food, so I really appreciate, obviously, every chance I get to talk with you. And every film that you make is just a gift to cinema goers around the world. I want everybody to see this film and see it in movie theaters, but I also want people who have not seen your earlier films to go back and find them, because they are treasures, to be sure. Christian Petzold, one of the finest people making movies today. Can't say that enough. The film is Miroirs No.3. It's being released in the United States by 1-2 Special. So you should be able to find information about where it's opening and playing. And I know, unfortunately, you're not going to be coming to Los Angeles, but you will be in New York for the opening weekend. So I hope everybody can get out there and have a chance to see the film with you there and ask questions. And if not, and you've seen the movie, you can certainly come here for our conversation with Christian Petzold and learn a little bit.
Christian,
thank you.
Thank you for this beautiful film, and thanks for taking this time. Really,
thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Gregory, and
and please, more Paula Beer. I can't get enough.
now she I think she'd make a break for 2 years because she's a young mother now.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
It's like this, that the final scene in this movie we have to do 6 months later, yeah, because I've made a mistake. Yeah. And in this, and I give her a call and said, we have to do the final scene again. Yeah? And she said, no problem, but the cadrage you have to change. And I said, why? Because I'm pregnant the 8th month. Yeah?
Oh my God!
Yeah, and I
So
was
she got pregnant during the final bit of the filming.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
the insurance company, it was a problem, I think. and so I didn't know that. And so at the end, the last close-up of her is her in the 8th month of pregnancy. And I think she never was so beautiful.
Oh, just radiant. Radiant. Yeah, really stunning.
Well, again, Christian, thank you for joining us, and thank you to the audience out there. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and share. We really need and want people to see this movie, of course, in particular, but just in general, a lot of the terrific art films that are being brought to cinemas across the United States as we're rebuilding the audience in this post-pandemic environment. So please be a part of the process of getting people back to seeing movies in movie theaters as they should be seen.
Amen.
You're right.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This episode of Inside the Art House was produced by Wishing Well Entertainment and Raphael Sparge, with on-site production by Noreen Dickerson. Our supervising producers are Thomas Cassetta and Miles McCreary. The episode was edited by Rick Pratt, with sound mixing by Thomas Cassetta. Our musical theme was composed by Isabel Engman and Gerardo Garcia Jr., graphics by Jenna DeAngelis, and social media marketing and web design by Stephanie Peters. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing. See you next time on Inside the Art House.